What up, Hall County? It's me. It's the LOGG coming to you from In the Stands podcast, episode 3. Andy Roberts, Tony Cash. Thank you, boys, for taking up for my slack last week. It's good to be back.
Welcome back.
Yep. Thank you.
Sure. Welcome back.
Yeah, thank you, Andy, for the well wishes. I can always depend on you,
Well,
Cash.
my good friend.
You know, I heard what you said about manning up, and at some point today, and I mean this, I hope you trip and fall.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes. And, you can't work when you have the fever. Oh. And so if I would have came in and contaminated you, you would have been gone from your desk even more than what you are normally.
Wow,
so.
shots fired. This is how I felt about his fever.
It's a
You
fair
ready?
statement.
Wait, won't work.
He's got a toy. So
No, that's going in the trash can here in a minute.
That's fine. I'll put it in the middle so I don't
Thank
touch it
you.
anymore.
Please don't touch it again.
how was yours week?
It was good. We went to Dancing for a Cause. I'm not sure if y'all know what that is, but a pretty large charity event now in Hall County. I think this was the 10th year that they've done this. A lot of money raised. Basically, they pick candidates. People are nominated from around Hall County, and it's like the show Dancing with the Stars that used to be on. They're partnered up with a professional dancer, and they'll take a few months, learn a routine, come out there and perform it in front of what was a pretty large crowd. So props to them. That's
Do they have judges that?
They've got judges. So
Okay.
there were 3 judges this year that were previous contestants.
Oh, okay.
So everybody did a great job. Shout out to Rachel Dockery for winning.
Congrats.
Yes.
Yep, she did great. Props to them all for getting up there and doing that. I know it's out of most of their comfort zone. You can definitely tell some have maybe never danced before, but they still got out there and did it and raised the money. So it was a lot of fun.
In it to win it.
Yeah, definitely.
Weekend was good. We had a jamboree this past weekend over in Winder. Went pretty well. 8U team. We got to see 2 different opponents. One of them was the team that beat us in the Super Bowl last year. So we got to go heads up against them, kind of see where we're at. They got to see where we're at. I was texting with that coach later on. We feel like we're a pretty good match, evenly matched. So if we do see each other later in the playoffs this year, we feel like it'll be a really good game. So the boys did great. It was drizzling a lot of the time. No complaining from them. They gave it all. It was pretty good to watch the boys work. We got some things to work on. 2 weeks for our season to start. So that'll be fun. It'll be good.
It's wide open.
Wide open, yeah.
For me, I just, laid low, watched some college football Saturday. Just excited about college football being here and what it all entails and brings. So,
Like fall weather. Ready for
yes,
the heat to be out of here.
100%.
Maybe the rain also.
My preacher said yesterday it's going to be like 58 one of the days this week in the
Good.
morning.
Bring
Oh,
it
boy.
on. I'll take it.
Yeah, for sure. If you guys would, I know we didn't talk about it last week. Obviously, I wasn't here, but if you would like, subscribe, and follow on us In the Stands podcast on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. I don't think we have an X
Not yet.
set up
We'll
yet.
get it.
Email us, please, at inthestandspodcast@outlook.com to grow this. Ask us questions. If you have any ideas, we're open to anything. For
Spotify.
You. Spotify. Oh, yeah, that's right. Spotify. We are on Spotify. Big thank you to the Barger boys that helped put this on for us behind the scenes.
Yep.
This means so much to us for you guys to help us with this podcast. So.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Yes. Please like, subscribe. We have a passion for this, but we're doing this for the community. So if all of you are enjoying it, we just need help keeping it out there.
Yep. Softball was out, obviously. We didn't have the stats for a couple weeks ago. Still don't have some stats for Johnson. Max Preps is, I don't know. There's nothing being uploaded.
Yeah, they're only showing one game on
Yeah.
there, right? So we would like to know some more information about Johnson if they do have a team, what their schedule's like and whatnot.
Yep. Chestatee went 0-2 last week, but they got games this week against Meadow Creek and Pickens. East Hall was 2-1. They have games against Jefferson, Oconee, and West Hall.
Ooh, 3-game week.
Yep. West Hall, it looks like they went 0-1. They're playing Monroe area and East Hall. Flary Branch had a good week, 3-1. They combined 44 runs in those 4 games. Lily
Catula, I believe.
Catula
Yep.
hit a home run against West Hall.
Nice.
Big props for her.
Yeah, congrats.
And they are playing Johns Creek, Lanier, and Madison County this week.
Stay closer to your mic.
Okay. Cherokee Bluff, I only show them 1 game. Looks like they've only played maybe 3 or 4 games already this year.
Yeah, I think it's
what's
3.
up with that?
Great question. Mother Nature seems to be wreaking havoc down at Cherokee Bluff, but only Cherokee Bluff.
Yeah, that's weird when everybody else has played 7 games.
No comment.
They got a big slate this week against Seckinger.
Yep,
I said it right. Yeah, woo. Jefferson, I think they're undefeated, and Monroe area. Gainesville, crank up the Lady Elephants. I think they're 4-0.
Yeah, I keep hearing that. Softball team's starting to do something down there.
Yep, they got Johns Creek and Milton this week. North Hall had a great week last week. They scored 25 runs, highlighted by pitchers Peyton Prater and Hadley Crumley. They threw 10 innings, 8 strikeouts, only 10 hits allowed in both games. They are playing big games against Lumpkin County this week and Dawson County. So good luck, ladies, to all the ladies softball players in Hall County this week.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yep.
Great. On to volleyball. Start with North Hall, and I know they're a little bit of struggle bus the last couple of weeks. I know they've not quite done what they were looking to do out of the gate. We got a big week coming up, so I know they're definitely capable of rebounding, but they went, looks like 1-4 last week. So no, not what they were looking for. Johnson, 0-2, playing George Walton Academy in East Hall. We'll talk about East Hall in just a minute. They've turned their week around, and so props to them.
Absolutely.
They went, let's see, East Hall 3-0. I know the first week they came out of the gate, I think it was maybe 0-4. So I know they're young over there at East Hall and they're trying, but great week to them. Props to you last week. West Hall going 1-3, struggling a little bit also out of the gate over there. Chestatee 0-2, but again, Cherokee Bluff, Lumpkin County. I know both programs are highlighted right now in volleyball, so they came out of the gate kind of with a tough schedule. And Bluff not only took out Chestatee, but also Duluth, and they won both matches 2-0. So
okay,
props to them. Gainesville, again, volleyball, keep hearing about them. They played in a big tournament Saturday, did really well, went 3-1 in it, played some pretty big schools out of there. So props to you, Gainesville.
Nice.
I'm starting to hear a lot about their program. They've got some.
Well, they wouldn't mess around with the coach they brought in from Buford. So
No,
they mean business in Gainesville. So.
Yeah, and they made that statement when they brought her on. So
Yeah.
they're
Good for them.
looking to have a big season.
nice.
Yep, so we'll see. Flyer Branch, 2-2, taking down Stevens County and Rabun County. So also doing well. Lakeview going 0-1 again. Lakeview again. I know they're rebuilding. So we'll see how the next few weeks go for them. Definitely going to next week. We'll talk about it more. Hall County Championships for volleyball. I believe it's going to be hosted at Gainesville again. It'll be not this weekend, but the next. Always a very competitive event. I know each year that's got a little bit more traction with it. Seems to get more and more competitive. So we'll kind of highlight that next week.
I'll try to go. I've never been to a volleyball match, so definitely need to go check that out.
That's definitely the one to go to, especially in our county.
So, dumb question. Maybe you say Hall County Champions. I'm assuming all Hall County schools will be there.
Yes, majority. I know Riverside may be the only one that has not participated in the past.
Okay.
So everyone else, as far as I know, should be there. So it's a big event. Cross Country World this past Saturday again. We said it last week. Cross country is just kind of getting kicked off, but I know most schools were in a couple very large meets this past Saturday. So one up in Pickens, I believe Jefferson was the other one. But again, we're coming out of the gate with the boys, and We've already highlighted him, but Max Young, great job. I mean, we're talking multiple
Yes.
runners in these meets, and Max Young placing 5th with a time of 16:38, which, again, I don't even want to talk about how ridiculous that is. Great time. And he was just on the heels of the top finisher, who was at 16:16. So,
Oh, wow.
great job on
12
Max.
seconds? Is that right?
Yeah, close to it.
Wow.
So, anyways, it's great
Great
job,
math
Max. I know we're
catch.
going to be talking about you a lot on here. So, headed into the girls, again, 2 from North Hall. 2 names we talked about last week. Summer Muxlow finishing 3rd, and Elin Kennedy finishing 10th. And again, Summer 18:45, Elin 19:41. Again, I know great times. I know North Hall has really put a lot of focus on cross country. They're looking to have a huge season, and so they've done a great job coming out of the gate there. So props to all of you. Next up, we've got the boys, Gainesville, the meet they ran. Again, a lot of runners here. Gainesville coming in with 4 in the top 20. Ethan Fountain finishing 3rd. Oswaldo Luna in 8th. Skylar Young 16th. And Eric Ruiz in 19th.
Okay.
So, again, I know Gainesville's got some runners looking to do some big things. So props to you all. Following up, Flyer Branch, the meet they ran, we've got Arden Jensen finishing 11th. Great job. Props to you. And then over here, Gainesville for the girls, Isabel Lee finishing 5th. It's the only runner for the girls in the county finishing the top 20 there. But like I said, very, very competitive meet. So props to all of you.
Awesome. Jumping into football, East Hall lost to Oglethorpe, 30-27. Johnson loses to Franklin County pretty big, 70-15. Cherokee Bluff handled Appalachia pretty easily, 47-2. Lakeview, they got a big win coming back from losing the LCA last week, beat Piedmont 34-7.
I do want to say on Lakeview, I do want to take just a quick second and Christian Dykes, just awful news. It happens in sports. We all know it, injuries. I think that's the one thing in the sports world pretty much everybody can agree on, whether you don't like a team, rivalry, sometimes individuals. At the end of the day, nobody wants anybody to get hurt. Christian Dykes, I believe, second play of that game, and this is one of Lakeview's star players, one of the best running backs in the county. And before anybody out there says, I don't know about that, if you've not seen him play,
That's right.
I don't think you can comment on it. One of the best running backs in this county. Went down second play, fractured a couple bones, dislocated part of his foot. It was awful. I did not see it, but the foot was in a direction it should not have been.
Okay.
So
That's not good. Be praying for him.
No, praying for him.
Yep.
And his attitude, I'm speaking to all athletes out there, as he laid there and pretty much didn't make a sound. You could have heard a pin drop in the stadium. In everybody else's eyes, it was all about him. In his eyes, he looked at his teammates, told them he loved them, keep working hard, they've got this. And I know through the weekend, as he heard, the news, as it looks like it's going to be a minimum year recovery, he has just stayed true to his faith, said God will get him through this, and just such a great attitude. So,
That's good.
hate it happened to you, Christian. Props to you, and we've got your back.
Yep. Gainesville had Moody coming in. I heard there was a lot of smack talk from Moody beforehand,
That's
and
what I heard.
Gainesville 49-7. So it really sounded like Thursday night elephant really run through your house.
Yeah, I heard it many times.
Yes.
But again, props to Gainesville. That was a big game. I know there was a lot of talk about it. It was supposed to be a close game.
Yeah, they're
So,
ranked number 2 in 5A in Alabama.
Oh, wow.
Speaking
Yeah.
of Gainesville, are they doing a spinoff for Yellowstone there at City Park?
yeah. I mean,
According to the coach's apparel, I would believe
Hey.
so.
he rocked it well. It looked like Rip leading the football team down that walkway.
It's 2 weeks in a row, if we're not mistaken, right?
Yeah, 2 weeks in a row, 2 wins in a row. We all know in sports, they're superstitious, and sometimes you got to find what wins for you, and it's a new look for sure, Coach. But hey, you rocked it. And keep winning. Keep doing
That's
it.
right.
That's right. Do want to apologize to Riverside for not giving them a shout out earlier, but they did get a win Friday night against Cross Keys, 36-6.
Nice.
North Hall, man, they had 609 total yards of offense. You had Wyatt Tumlin having 221 yards on 10 carries, averaging 22.1 yards per carry, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
North Hall did get the win against Wesleyan, 41-7.
Who beat them last year, by the way?
Wesleyan. That's what we talked about. That
That's
a
right.
little bit of revenge there.
That's right.
Now, one thing I have to say about North Hall,
They're going to be fun to watch.
they're going to be fun to watch. Everybody better look out because I truly saw the stats of that game. I don't know what's more impressive, that offense, what they did, or what the defense did.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this was supposed to be a close game, and that defense, they struggled to get that touchdown from what I understand.
Absolutely. Griffin Hartford and Brett Sturm had a combined of 315 rushing yards for Flyer Branch as they went up to Habersham and beat them 31-28 in Habersham up there at I believe it's Larry Black Field. It's pretty impressive. Habersham coming off a big win last week against Stevens County, so Flyer Branch, big props going up there. I know it's not easy to play up there. It's a loud stadium.
Props to Michael Perry coming in as the coach for the first year and went to school with Michael.
Did you?
Yeah,
Okay.
he does a great job. So looks like he's out of the gate quickly with them.
Good deal. West Hall, they beat Northview 21-17. Want to give a big shout out to Coach Lyon as he gets his first victory as West Hall's head coach.
Congrats, Coach.
Nice.
Ben Phelps on that team, he had close to 200 rushing yards in Coach's first win. So big shout out to Ben and to Coach. With that, I'd like to give West Hall the team of the week. I know sometimes they get overlooked in Hall County, but Coach getting his first win, Ben Phelps coming in with a lot of rushing yards. So I'd like to give them the team of the week this week.
Got some of their colors.
Oh yeah, I
on
got
right
the
now.
Navy on today.
Yeah.
I got the Navy. My wife has a saying because she graduated from West Hall, best Hall out there. So she's going to appreciate me saying that. I do want to highlight two big games coming up this week. Big one right out of the gate: Cherokee Bluff going to North Hall this coming Friday. Going to be a big game. Cherokee Bluff handled them pretty easily last year at Bluff. It's going to be big this year, like you said. North Hall got a lot of offense, good defense. Supposedly this is their year to do big things. Interested to see how that goes up there. Loggins, like you said, it's a revenge match, and just like they got payback on Wesleyan, they're going to want to get payback on Cherokee Bluff this week.
Sure. I don't think they like each other too well.
I was just about to say, speaking of smack talking, that seems last few years, every year, a little bit more of a rivalry, a little bit more
Basketball,
of a rivalry.
baseball.
Yes.
I mean, there's lots of talking going on.
Oh, yeah.
Through those two schools.
Yeah, that's it is a revenge game. Looks like North Hall is a little bit of a favorite coming into that match, but I don't think Cherokee Bluff's going out easy.
No,
That is,
The Brickyard will be packed.
Yes,
yes,
it
I
will.
know. That's going to be a
Labor
great
Day
football game.
weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Woo!
And then second game, I'm going to say it's the battle of the west side of Hall County. You got Chestatee and West Hall going up against each other this week. It'll be played at West Hall, but I'm going to say it's the west side of Hall County up for grabs there. Should be a pretty good match between the two of them. Interesting game there.
Yeah, they got two running backs. You got the Phelps kid and Plemons, I guess, or from Chestatee, the good running back.
He's been throwing up some big numbers.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hype around him. So, yeah, that 100% could wind up being a great game.
Absolutely.
So did y'all hear what, I know this is not Hall County, but Banks County? Well, what's going on there?
I don't know what's going on. I know
they're
How do you
looking
let
for a
go
new
of
coach.
No, they've got a new coach. So they were off this past weekend. So I think they played East Hall the week one, got beat by them. Then they released their coach or moved into a different direction after 11 games. The coach had came in from Holy Innocents, and after 11 games, for whatever reason, they made a change, and the guy who got basically run out of Commerce last year was offense coordinator, is now the new coach at Banks County. So, and they're in the same region, so it's going to be very interesting. In
definitely
a few weeks.
something we're going to be talking about at
For
some
sure.
point. Is it just seems and don't know the story there.
No.
It could be more to it than just win and loss on football games, but it just seems to be this day and time as a coach. You don't have long.
Nope.
In
Short
fairness to
leash.
the coaches, they don't have long to, and especially when you're brought in to at times to actually rebuild a program. And it seems even under those circumstances, I mean, you feel like 2 or 3 years and spotlight's all of a sudden on.
Yep.
That's it's tough to build a program that quickly.
100%.
So we'll discuss that later on.
Small town scandal.
On down the road. Yeah. Well, great week again in Hall County sports. Now looks like everybody's in full force, starting to play. I'm going to be busy from here on out the rest of the season for all these sports and student athletes. So really looking forward to covering all this. I've had some good games. Had good games out of the gate, so looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
Think everybody's going to enjoy the guest this week. We do have a guest. Executive Director of GHSA, Dr. Tim Scott, will be joining us. I know there's a lot of talk, not just in Hall County, statewide, but a lot in Hall County on the new rules that have been implemented. A lot of talk on the landscape of sports, as far as, again, like we've talked about, transferring, reclassing. So we're going to be discussing all that with him. So we're all looking forward to that. So
Awesome. We're going to get educated today.
We're going to get educated today. Yep. Looking forward to it.
Yep.
Same here.
Okay, everyone. Here joining us today, Dr. Tim Scott, Executive Director of GHSA. Just a quick bio on Dr. Scott. Before his current position as Executive Director of the Georgia High School Association, Dr. Scott had a distinguished career in educational leadership. He served as the Superintendent of Dalton Public Schools, the Assistant Superintendent of Operations in Douglas County School System, and Principal at Douglas County High School, Dublin High School, and Northside High School. His extensive experience also includes roles as an assistant principal, teacher, and coach. Dr. Scott is originally from Warner Robins, Georgia. He is married to Dr. Robin Scott, an elementary principal with the Coweta County School System, and they have 4 children. In his off time, Dr. Scott enjoys the ocean, hiking, his 2 fun-loving cane corsos, Stella and Luna.
Yeah, they're fun-loving, all right.
Yeah, I'm sure those are
Big dogs.
massive dogs, from what I understand.
Yeah, they're pretty cool to hang out with.
Nice.
Good. Well, we can't thank you enough, Dr. Scott, for taking your time out to be on the podcast with us today and just updating North Georgia on current rules and kind of what you do on a day-to-day basis. So we're really thrilled to have you here.
Well, listen, I appreciate the opportunity, guys. Thanks for having me here. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Great.
Yeah, just again, thank you for being here in our little small podcast that we're starting here, and just excited about what you have to say to clear up some talk. We have a lot of armchair quarterbacks here in the county that think they know, but let's just get right to the point. What's the new transfer rule here?
All right.
And
Open it up good.
yes,
Absolutely.
All right.
the GHSA.
So, well, it started probably just about a year ago. I had some coaches from South Georgia, a few coaches in the North Georgia area had been talking about, we're looking at kids when they come into our schools. Sometimes they're a junior and they've been at 7 or 8 different schools.
Wow.
And that's not good educationally. And the first thing everybody needs to know is Georgia High School is an education-based organization. And we want our kids to participate in the very best extracurricular activities that we can provide in the best environment we can provide them in. But at the end of the day, we hope them and their families are preparing them for life after high school.
Right.
And we all know that for most of them, that's not going to be college or professional sports.
Right.
And so they said, hey, we need to really kind of look at this. We've got people bouncing, they can move, and we have some families that have means to move, and then others that may not. And so we want to look at what we're doing. So they did come up with a rule, and some of it we've been doing for years. But when you make a bona fide move, it means a whole family at this residence is moving into a new service area or a new school district. And that is a bona fide move. And with this new rule, once you establish eligibility with the Georgia High School Association, whether that's as a 9th grader or whether you move into a school as a 10th, 11th, and 12th grader, once you've established, you get one bona fide move like that. After that one bona fide move, your family can still move again, and there may be reasons, but then you have to show why it's not for athletic purposes. Okay, so everything's appealable. You can appeal whatever, and so let's say a kid establishes in Hall County establishes eligibility at one of the high schools, and in their 10th grade year, their dad or mom or whomever, they get a big raise and they have to move. Well, that's fine. They can just say, hey, we've gotten this advancement. It's good for our family, and that's why we're moving. We're not moving because, my child didn't play or whatever the reasons may be. But then after that, the next biggest things are things that athletic directors were looking at before, but we just, as an office, never asked for proof. But now we're asking them, show us where you purchased a home or you started a new lease. Show us where you put your house up for sale or sold it, or you canceled an old lease.
Yes.
Where did you turn your electricity off? Where did you turn your electricity on? Well, if you're moving, have you gone to the post office and forwarded your mail to your new address? Have you changed your driver's license? That's state law. Within 60 days in Georgia, you have a license with your new address on it. So now we're asking them to do those things, and we have a link so we can upload them and look at them. That way, we've not done that in the past. We've asked schools to take a look at it and make sure it was there. I'm sure some did and some may not have, but so that's the biggest changes that we have is that after you've established eligibility, you can still move again, and there may be certain reasons that you have to and you need to.
Right.
No issue there. And everything's appealable. So if we look at something and say it comes to me and I turn it down, then you get to appeal that to a 4-member committee, which is 4 members of our executive committee.
Okay.
And if they vote it down, you get a second shot at 4 different members.
Okay.
So it comes to us.
So
at
it's
the
not one and
office.
done.
No,
So
it
you
comes
have
to
to-
us at
okay.
the office, and if we deny it, it goes to a 4-member committee where we have nothing to do with it. They present to those athletic directors or coaches on the committee, and if it gets denied by those 4, then it goes to a different 4, and they get it. And then if they deny it, you can take it to the full executive committee if you choose to, but we only meet in October and April, so.
Okay.
Wow, that's big.
So one quick question on that. Okay, 9th grade, they're established. They're in their school system. They've been in 10th grade. They move. Good reasons. Approved. 11th grade, something happens. They go to a different school. That's still appealable where they could possibly play at that school, or
Did they move?
well, that's what I'm asking. If they move
Yeah.
again, they could do that.
Yes,
Okay.
they could appeal it
Okay.
again. You can appeal anytime. I mean, you could move.
Every move.
You could have to move 5 or 6 times.
Okay.
So let's take an example of kids establish eligibility in 9th grade. And then, family has to transfer due to work. So they transfer. They've been there 2 years, and now it's their junior year, and a family member, one of the grandparents gets sick, and so they have to move somewhere else to kind of take care of them and be there. So all those would be legitimate, absolutely.
Okay. I
Now-
was confused. I thought now the rule was if you had already done it once, you had to sit out a year no matter what.
You don't
So,
have
okay,
to sit
well,
out. You
okay.
can't. That's appealable. And
Okay.
so, why are you moving? So, if you said, well, I moved 3 miles, that I don't know that. Yeah, and I moved from a school that this last year this team was 3-7, and I moved 3 miles to a new residence in a new service zone to a school that was in the semifinals last year.
Okay.
And my kid's a 4-star.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, how you're gonna be able to convince me that wasn't for athletics.
Sure.
purposes.
Understood.
Well, I do want to propose a scenario. If a established 9th grader, right, they've established, let's say, one of the Hall County schools, then they leave and they go to a Georgia independent school, a private school. When they say the sophomore year they're there, and they come back out their junior year, does that count as one bona fide move, or is that 2?
Once you've established, when
Yes.
you go to the non-member, that's 1.
Okay.
When you leave the non-member and go back, that's 2.
Okay.
Ooh,
Yeah.
okay. That's,
Okay.
there it is.
So now we do have a rule, a waiver that if you're at a non-member and you've never had eligibility with a member school, we treat those just like 9th graders. So let's say you go to a non-member school your 9th and 10th grade year,
Okay.
and you've never established eligibility, then your 11th grade year, you could go to any school you choose to go to, just as you can as a 9th grader. So 9th graders, when you're in the 9th grade and you're entering high school, you can enter any school as far as Georgia High School is concerned.
Okay.
Now the school district may not let you,
Sure.
based on boundaries and that kind of stuff.
So does that mean the first day of school is a 9th grader, or is it when your 8th grade ends? Is it based on where you live then, or is it when you're establishing going to your first day of school at high school?
Well, for us, It's when you start that first day of
Okay.
practice, not necessarily the first day of school, because some school districts we have start late in August, and others they may start before the 1st of August.
Okay.
So it's when that first day of practice is, as far as we're concerned. And the summertime is not. We don't really rule on the summertime, so a kid could participate,
Okay.
wherever they wanted to. The thing is if they attend a school. My parents are divorced, so I attend this Hall County school, but I go to this county to be with my dad in the summer, and so I work out with that school.
Okay.
As long as I come back to my home school, I'm good.
Okay.
But if I didn't, and I turn around and say, hey, I'm going to stay with my dad and play here, then we would call that undue influence, and that person would have to sit a year.
Okay, that's nice to know.
Yeah.
All right, so another topic, hot topic we kind of hear a lot about right now. I know I truly don't understand how it works, and I know a lot are kind of learning as we go. But NIL deal in high school, I know obviously in college that's a big deal now, changing the landscape of sports, and now it's trickled down to high school. From what I understand, it is eligible in the state of Georgia now or approved, but I know I've not really heard much about someone actually getting NIL, and how does that even work?
So it's your own name, your own image, your own likeness, and you have to do that separate from your school, your district, and the sport that you play. So if I'm a real good athlete, I cannot put on my school jersey and sit in a restaurant or at a car dealership or whatever and sign autographs or sign pictures for people, because that shows my school, or that shows it can't show the GHSA. So you have to be able to stand on your own with that.
Okay.
And you can't, and it's not pay for play. So you also, when you look at things, you can't just look at the NIL, but you also look at undue influence and recruiting. And so I can't say, hey, as long as you stay at East Hall, I'll give you shoes and gloves every year. You can't do that, because that's encouraging you to stay at one school.
Right.
And we don't do collectives. I know a lot of people are putting together, they call them clubs or collectives, where you send out these emails and you get people to donate, and then you divide the money up. And see, that's pay for play, and if you're getting paid for play, you're ineligible.
Oh, okay.
And so you really have to be careful too, because people have gotten pretty good, and they do these tournaments, and not just in football, but basketball and other things, and they'll sell tickets for people to come watch the tournament and raise money, and then they want to pay the students. And if you get paid for playing, then you're not an amateur anymore. That's our amateur rule.
Yeah, this thing.
So there's more facets to that than just the NIL. But am I getting paid to play? Am I showing anything of the school? And some of those deals that some of the kids, I would say, if your child's really, really good, make sure you got representation. If you're going to sign something, make sure you know what you're signing, because you may sign something as a senior, and of course, Georgia just passed a law that after college, I believe it is, that there can't be a binding contract that lasts for that long. And so you want to be careful, because some of these things have gone on for a while.
Sure.
Yeah, I just seen where a kid in Alabama was suspended for taking, was it called amateurism, or I don't know if that's the right word, but so he got caught with doing that. So
yeah, and we have about 165, 166 active NILs right now. I would say little or no money with any of them. Most of them, they're getting a pair of batting gloves or getting a pair of cleats, or they get to go to a restaurant maybe once a month and get a free meal, that kind of stuff.
And that's out of how many athletes around ballpark?
Well, last year we did 462,000 eligibility forms. Wow. That's the total athletes in the state of Georgia.
Wow.
Didn't realize that many athletes.
And you're talking about the eligibility that we talked about earlier. Out of those 462,000, we had 5,918 or 19, I think it was, that transferred after school started last year.
Oh.
So that's, and it sounds like a big number. God, 5,900 transferred after school started, but you got to realize that's out of 462,000. So the number's not as large. That when you think about it that way, it's not as large as it
No.
sounds.
Well, and that was one of our questions, and you may have just answered it, is are you seeing a problem now with transferring? Us speaking, not necessarily you, but, obviously there's been some transfers that were probably heavily weighed more on athletics than education. And so, statewide, didn't know if you were seeing that, if it's become a problem in your office that you've had to address, or if it's most are doing it the right way and it's just part of it.
Yeah, and I think most of our schools try to do it the right way. They want to do it the right way. I think some of the things that may happen between community or
Sure.
that kind of stuff. But I do know our athletic director, so they'll call and talk to me about it and say, hey, now I got to make sure. I want to make sure it's right, and they want to do what's right. I will say that it seemed like that as far as what I've been dealing with, the transfers with this new rule, it's a little tougher. To get all the information together and that kind of stuff. And so I'm sure we'll see at the end of this year what the numbers are again. And our thing is we certainly don't want to stop a child from participating that needs
Right.
to, but we'll make sure it's for the right reasons.
Right.
Sure.
Well, we'll move on to the next topic. One that's we've noticed a lot more of here recently, reclassifications. We hear about it a lot more now than back in the day. So are you seeing a lot of that throughout the state?
Well, we're talking about it a lot. As a matter of fact, I sent an email out this morning right before I got here that we're having our next reclassification meeting September the 10th.
Okay.
And hopefully we have met several times, and Kurt Miller, he's at Oconee County High School. He's the chairperson, and he has done a really good job of leading us through the process. And we had probably 4 or 5 different proposals that we've discussed and talked about. Of course, I was pushing competitive balance. It didn't make the cut, but that's okay. It's just the one that I felt was good. But the committee has, I think we're really settling down on what we have been doing the last 2 years. And it's kind of come about that, hey, we want to continue doing what we're doing. But we would like to look at the postseason rankings and use them a little bit more. So I don't know where they'll end up voting and calling it, but some of the conversation has been, hey, being a region champion is important.
Sure.
So those teams should host. But after that, we would like to go to the postseason rankings and get 1 through 32. And so if somebody falls out of the top 16 that's a region champ, let's say somebody's at 19, you would move them to 16, and then 16 would everybody drop 1 slot, and then you put them in the bracket based on that.
Okay.
And with the region champion still hosting, well, what that means we would be doing as an organization is we wouldn't be matching regions like we do now. And so we'd kind of see how that goes. We'll see what happens on the 10th, but that's been part of the discussion. I think that's the direction we're looking at going, at least the next 2 years. And who knows with competitive balance or what else is out there. There were some good proposals from members and coaches from around the state that we discussed, and it's just that everybody kept coming back to, we've only done what we're doing now for 2 years. Let's look at it. Let's track some more data.
Okay.
Let's tweak the PSR a little bit, and let's see how that goes. And so that's what I'm thinking, we're going to get to. But I can't tip my hat to Kurt and the members of that committee that discussed that and took their own biases out as they tried to, make sure we do what's right for the whole organization.
Okay.
Nice.
Great.
I guess another big topic is, and you keep hearing people say this about referees and umpires, the shortages. With more schools being built, more teams being included, is that a real big issue going on right now?
I think it does affect us some.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, right now we're having, there's some teams that have to play on a Thursday night instead of a Friday and Saturday in football because we just don't have enough officials. One of those was a few years back, went to a 7-man crew. instead of a 6-man crew. So that caused us to, be short a little bit, just like that. But over the last couple of years, numbers have increased, but so has participation. So with the increase in participation, even though we're increasing in numbers, we still it makes it difficult, especially when you get weather where you have to reschedule, and now you're playing multiple games in a week. And so it's like I have a son that coaches at Richmond Hill down in Bryan County. Well, they're playing tonight because they couldn't get the game in this weekend, and then they're turning around and playing a team out of Florida on Friday night.
Oh, wow.
So they've got 2 games this week because of they tried to play on Friday and couldn't. Then they tried again on Saturday and it didn't work, and so now they're trying on Monday. Just the weather.
Monday night football.
Yeah.
In high school.
Take it.
Do they? So we can't play on Sundays in Georgia? Out
Oh,
of curiosity.
no. Not at all. We do not play on Sundays.
Okay.
Nice to know.
And we don't go to a tournament that they play on Sundays, even if it's not in Georgia. We will not approve it.
Okay.
I've got a so another topic we hear a lot about in Hall County, and probably statewide at this point. Kids being held back in the grades. Is that something your office even monitors? Can you hold somebody back at any point if it's not for educational purposes?
Yeah, we do not allow what people call reclass. Now, I can't, and the GHSA regulates 9 through 12. I don't have any control over what happens
Middle school.
kindergarten through, middle school. And I will say, being a superintendent, if your child was in the 7th grade and passed all their classes and passed the milestones and you wanted to keep them in the 7th grade, I'm not going to do that.
Sure.
I mean, you can't, as a school system, you have to be good stewards of your taxpayer money and that kind of stuff. And so, so we wouldn't do that, or I wouldn't have done that as a superintendent. But hopefully that I have had that happen a few times where we've had to say no. We don't do that, and that's just it. If you're passing and you're doing well, when our bylaws say you have 8 semesters to participate once you enter the 9th grade, and we stick to that. That is where it's at. And then there's an age limit too. If you turn 19 before May 1st, then that's it. You're done. So if I turn 19, say April the 30th this year, then next year, even though I might be a senior, I can't participate.
Oh,
That's interesting.
Did not know that.
So
I thought it was 20.
No.
To be honest, I thought it was 20.
No, 19 on prior to May 1st.
Okay.
So you can turn 19 May 2nd, and you're good for that next year. But if you turn 19,
So let me pose this then. That's interesting. You're in your senior year. You're 18. I'm going to use baseball as an example because I believe baseball state championship playoff runs goes into May. Am I late into May?
Yes.
Okay, so now senior year, I'm 18. We've just started a playoff run May 1st. Just before it, I turned 19.
okay. So when I say before your senior year, so you would be turning 19 during your junior year.
Oh.
Okay.
So
Okay.
if you turn 19 on April or even February, and you're going to graduate in May or the end of May, early June, you're fine.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, you
I'm
can
glad-
play. It's
I'm
the
glad we-
year. It's the year preceding. So once I turn 19 on April the 20th, I better be graduating the end of May, because if I have to go for another year, I'll be eligible if I roll into that next school year.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay.
Understood.
Oh.
Yeah. Well.
This is why we wanted him on here.
Absolutely.
Hey.
Well, 20 is not wrong. It's just looked at differently.
Now, you can attend school at that older age, like you're talking about.
Right.
You just can't participate in
Okay.
athletics.
I got a curiosity question. Do colleges ever try to have input in what goes on for y'all? And I say that I feel like Georgia is a hotbed for athletes and a lot of sports. And do our local colleges try to say anything or suggest anything to try and keep the students here and not lose them out of state?
I've not had the opportunity to speak with anyone. Now, I will say our colleges do a great job working with us and providing us with facilities to participate with our state championships. We just signed an agreement with UGA to host the state track meet there this next spring of 26.
that'll be great.
Oh, beautiful facility. What a great place for our kids to run. And then we have places like Georgia State and University of West Georgia and different ones where we use their facilities for basketball and different stuff. So that way that they're great to us. Nobody's ever discussed whether a child was here or in Alabama or Florida or anything like that. At least not with me. No,
Right.
Predecessors possibly. I don't know.
Well, I thought Buford Milton game, was aired on ESPN. I thought this was a great plug for the state of Georgia, and props to what you guys are doing. But during that game, one of the announcers said, he said, I've been asked the last few years in conversations with different people, if you had one state to pick in the entire country to go recruit out of, you could only go to that state. He said Georgia, and he said, I've said it many times, and just a lot of great athletes coming out of here, and I thought that was a great plug for the state of Georgia.
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. I think we have great athletes. We have great facilities. Buford, I mean, look at that. But what a great partnership between the city and the school district.
Sure.
The city builds that, and the school district leases it. I mean, and those people do a really good job. But then look at Gainesville High School.
Oh, yeah.
Right down the street here. I mean, another beautiful facility. And then, they just built another one down at Richmond Hill, has a really nice facility. And then several of our schools are starting to have small indoor facilities, but some indoor facilities. So I think Georgia does it better than anybody else. But, you looked on the TV this weekend and you saw California and Florida playing.
Yep.
So, I mean, a lot of great athletes all over the nation. And that's one of the great things with the NFHS and what we do is I get that opportunity to talk to other executive directors all over the nation and how they do things and talk to them. And there are a lot of people doing really good stuff out there. And but I do think that Georgia does it better than anybody else. I'm a little prideful about that. And with me saying that, I want to also say, Dr. Hines, Robin Hines, he did a magnificent job and promoting and doing the stuff that he did to get us where when I came in it's been really easy, and tip my hat to him and say thank you.
Awesome. You actually hit on the next question I was going to ask. Do y'all meet with the other for the NFHS? Do y'all meet as a group or?
Oh yeah.
How often?
We sure do. So we really have a summer meeting and a spring meeting.
Okay.
I mean, summer meeting and a winter meeting. So we'll meet in California in January.
Okay.
We were in Chicago this past summer, but then we meet as what we call Section 3, which is we'll just call it the SEC part. So it's Florida, Georgia, Alabama, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, those states, Mississippi. I probably left some out, but you get the idea.
Sure.
And so we're meeting in Charleston. I think I leave on the 5th, and our meeting's the 6th, 7th, 8th, and then I'll come back on the 9th.
Okay.
But the NFHS leadership comes to all of those all over the nation, and all of us meet. And then our group, we do Zooms, every probably 4 or 5 weeks.
Okay.
We all get on a Zoom together and talk about what's going on, but we make phone calls too. I've talked probably 3 or 4 times to Jerome Singleton in South Carolina and different ones so I mean it's a good partnership and it helps me, I'm just in my second year doing this, and to be able to pick up a phone call somebody that's been doing it for 20, it makes it nice.
Yep.
Well, how do you go about picking the sites for the state championship games? I know the last couple of years that we've had a team locally here in Hall County that's made it to the state championship, and they've had to go to Rome the last 2 years, which is a pretty good little trek where you have Gwinnett right here, basically.
Yeah.
How does that go into?
So as far as baseball goes, we really are trying to look as close as we can of where people are. and that's why some of the smaller South Georgia schools that made it, they ended up playing at Georgia Southern. And then we look at where everybody's at and try to place them with baseball. And we don't do that with everything. And some things we go ahead and assign a classification or whatever to a certain arena. But to find out where we're going to go, a lot of times we send emails out to schools and said, hey, anybody want to host? You know, and then do you have, you know, the seats to host? Do you have the parking to host? That's how we get a lot of them, especially with wrestling. The team duels, not the individuals. Of course, the individuals are held at a single site. Football, of course, we're at Mercedes-Benz, and you know, we don't. It costs a lot, but the Falcons and Arthur Blank Foundation, they're very good to us. But even with them being very good, it's still expensive to be there. But we're thankful to be there because how many of those kids are going to get to play in a facility like that? That's, you know, and then with girls flag football, and it's just blown up. Last year we finished Mercedes-Benz with 288 teams. We roll into this year with 311 teams and 5 divisions instead of 4 divisions with girls flag football. And you know, and then there's a lot of Division I colleges now offering scholarships, and so that sport is blowing up.
We've heard and talked about that what we read is fastest growing sport in the nation.
Very well could be. You look where we went, you know, and of course, again, the Arthur Blank and the Atlanta Family Foundation, Atlanta Falcons last year said, hey guys, if you want to start a team, we'll give you $10,000. If you already have a team, we'll give you $5,000. And all they had to do was fill out an application. And that was, I mean, really cool for the Falcons and them to do that. And then, you know, our state legislators did a resolution for girls flag football, first in the nation. And had that opportunity. We met at Mercedes-Benz, and it was read. It was a really nice program, and with that kind of support, I mean, it's amazing, you know, how quick it's growing. But yeah, it is in the nation. It's moving.
Great. Well, once again, we cannot thank you enough for your time.
Yes.
This you know, everything we've asked here is just I can't tell you around the workplace, football games, basketball games, you know, all of it. Just talking around the community, a lot of questions there. I know from a lot of community members, and it just always helps to get the word out and clarify some things. So.
Well, listen, I've enjoyed my time. I appreciate it, and I'll be glad to come back anytime.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you
so much.
Hey, thank y'all.
All right. Thanks again, Hall County, for listening in. I think another great episode. That was very informative for Dr. Scott.
Yep.
Really appreciate him taking the time to
No doubt.
join us today. We want to end each episode with a verse or quote for the week. So this week, Cash has got that, and just thank you again for being with us.
Yep. So the quote will be, "The grind may go unnoticed, the results won't."
Ooh,
That's a good one.
Absolutely.
I like it.
I do. All right. Yeah, appreciate it, y'all. Hope y'all have a great week.
Yep.
Look forward to seeing some people at the games this week.
Yep, definitely. All right. Thanks.